Hello, once again, we are live with the Modern Mystery School UK EU podcast and YouTube channel. And today we are joined by the lovely Poppy. Poppy, how are you?
I'm doing wonderful. How are you?
Very well, and excited because yet again, I get to find out just why you decided to become a guide. Because being a guide in the Modern Mystery School, it takes a lot of dedication, a lot of commitment. It is something that the few decide to do simply because it is a hard journey that you've been on this whole journey of working on yourself and serving others and such like. So it is really, I guess we could say it's a calling, in that sense. So I'm really excited to find out why you decided you wanted to become a guide.
Well, great. Yeah, there's a story to it, so I'm excited to talk about it. And I just wanted to say thanks for having me on this. I love talking about this, and it's great being with you and doing this podcast. Um, so my journey started. I've been in the mystery school now about 10 years. And I had always been on a spiritual path. So I had searched out a lot of different things. I'm a yoga teacher. I was looked through different things in the New Age. I've always been kind of interested in this esoteric. And from a really young age, I felt like I had a deeper purpose here on earth. And so I spent some time down in Sedona, really going through like different types of experiences. And some of them were good. And some of them were like, I don't know. Is this of the light? Is it not? And so I tried different things, and maybe some of them worked. And I think there's good stuff out there, but it just, nothing quite rang home to me. So then I started a whole different journey, kind of away from the spiritual. And then about 10 years ago, somebody had told me about this and the Empower Thyself and the life activation, and something inside of me just kind of like lit up. And I'm like, oh, okay, yeah, I'm going to do that. And then my husband's so cute. I told him, I'm like, oh, we're going to do this. And he's like, oh, okay. And so we both decided, well, I mean, I kind of decided, and he trusts me. So he's like, that sounds good, Poppy, let's do that. So we both went through and got our life activation. We went to Empower Thyself, the workshop, the 2-day workshop and initiation. And it was really cool. And then after that, we kind of forgot about it. We put into practice what we had learned about, but just kind of like, okay, we did that and now we're done. And looking back, it's really funny because if I look at how my life had changed from that point, it was so obvious how much of an impact it had made, but I didn't realize it. So after we got Empower Thyself and got this initiation, about 3 months later, my husband's like, we were successful, career, things were fine. Like we had a good life. But he's like, we're starting to get a little older. And if we're going to do something big, now's the time. And so I'm like, yeah, okay. And he's like, let's open a restaurant in Peru. And he's from Peru, so it wasn't that random. And so we're like, okay, let's go for this. We open up this restaurant and it becomes very successful. So the restaurant is in the top 10 of like on TripAdvisor of restaurants in Peru. And so the success, we worked at it and everything, but everything changed in our trajectory. We had a life that we wanted. We went to Peru more often. My daughter lived in both places, and it was really an exciting way to live. And then one time it was like 2 years later, I'm like, baby, didn't we like do that thing? Remember that thing, that Empower Thyself? We're like, oh, okay, didn't we do that? And he was like, yeah. And I'm like, didn't everything change after that? He's like, yeah, maybe. And so after that, I was like, well, I'm going to do the next level of things. I'm going to do the next level of initiation. And so I went and learned how to do, just basically because I wanted to learn about it. So I just went and did this next thing, which was to become a life activation practitioner. It was just basically the next thing. I wasn't really planning on doing it. And so there's this ability to want to move forward. And so what had happened was after I had done this, it takes 5 days and anybody can do it. And it's a really amazing experience, but I wasn't actually planning on doing the life activations for people. I was just going to do it. And then I got back and I'm like, I just spent 5 days doing this. I should do some. So I just kind of pulled random people out. I did about, I don't know, maybe 5 or 6 life activations, kind of forgot about it. And then people started coming back to me and they're like, oh, Poppy, this happened. And this happened. And I was like, oh, okay. Yeah, maybe it was the life activation. I don't know. And so I kept being like, it could be, sure. But do we have proof of it? And finally, I kind of kept doing it. And one of my girlfriends was like, listen, Poppy, everything in my life changed after this. My finances changed. I got divorced and found my new, like, the love of my life, all these different things. This was the life activation. Like, I was running in one direction and everything changed. And I was like, oh, okay, maybe there's something more to it. And then I put it aside again. So this journey's been going on for 10 years. And so at that point, then I was like, well, I think that's kind of cool that these things are happening, and maybe there's something to it. It seemed to work for me and it seems to be working for them. And then this really annoying thing started happening. I think it's almost like back from the cartoons where you have that little conscience starts like niggling at you, right? And I'm like, what? Leave me alone. And it was saying to me, well, look at the impact that you're making on people. Look at what's happening to people. Not everybody knows how to do this. Don't you think you should be offering it to more people? And so I kept pushing it away. And then I'm like, yeah, no, okay. I'm just going to tell people. I don't care if they do it or not. And so I kept telling people. And then people were, for whatever reason, the people I talked to were like, oh yeah, I need that. I want that. Can we schedule it today? And so it started happening that I did more and more. So I'm getting pretty close to 250 life activations between here and in Peru. And so it's pretty interesting because all these things have been changing for all these different people. And so as I did that, and as this initiation moved me to the next level, and I was moving people to the next level, it just kind of started to feel like the people I had been doing the initiation or the life activations for started asking me questions along the lines of like, well, what's the next step? And I'm like, oh, initiation. But it seemed like they didn't want to move forward. You know, I tried, but it seemed like they wanted to do it with me. And so I was at the point where I was like, I'm starting to get almost pressure from behind me. Like, okay, we got to do this. We have to like have this next, this next thing. And I'm like, yeah, but Genevieve can do it. And this person can do it. And they're like, yeah, okay. And they're still not doing it. So finally I was like, okay, I'm ready to do this next level of, of life activation, of initiation. And so once I decided that, everything started shifting again. And so I think like one of the things, if you look into my life, you could really see that the answer of the question, like, what are the fruits of this? What are the fruits of these classes? I think you could go through and systematically see my life getting better, relationships with my husband, joy in my life. Our business is doing great. We opened up another business. We do tours now to Machu Picchu. I mean, the tours just fill up just like that. We're like expanding so quickly. And so what I'm finding is that, each time I do another class, there's tools that's given to me. And each time I level up and I learn more things, I bring these tools, more joy happens in my life. Or there's shifts that it didn't happen with anything else I tried. It didn't happen with yoga. It didn't happen with any other system. And so for me, it was just a really like strong indicator. And there's a part of me through this whole process that was kind of wanting to prove it wrong. Like I'd done so many different things. So I was like, I don't know if this is true. And what I love about mystery school is nobody ever says, Poppy, you have to have faith in order for it to work. You never hear that. They're like, try it, go ahead, prove me wrong. You hear that from people a lot. Prove me wrong. Some of our teachers, but first try it and then prove me wrong. Tell me how it's not going to work. And so when that happened, I felt really confident in being able to be like, okay, I'm gonna check this out. I'm gonna try it for myself. And like, there was that little part of me that's like, and it might not work. And then each level it works. And so it's really a really exciting progress for sure.
I love that story, Poppy, especially because, you outlined so much. But one of the things that I love about that is that you did it in your own way and your own path and your own time. There was never any, oh, well, I have to do this and then this. And then no, you took the tools, you integrated it, you live life, and that's the whole point of the mystery school, is that we take the magic into our life and we make a life that we, like you say, have joy, have abundance, we have good relationships. That's the whole point, and then like you said, why, when we start seeing that working in our own life and others, then it's kind of that, niggling thing for all of us. We're like, well, it would be not fair to then offer it to the people that we love and that we meet. So I totally get that. That's lovely. I really love that. Poppy, our time is almost up. I mean, it has whizzed by, but I would love to, for sure have you back on the show talking about other classes and sessions and things like that. But just to kind of finish off, who, I know some people out there might feel like this is maybe just for spiritual people, or maybe just for a certain type of person. In your experience, is that true, or can this be for everybody?
Sure. I mean, I think that's a great question. And I think maybe people shy away from it because they have different beliefs and they're concerned that it's not going to line up with their beliefs. But honestly, the cool thing about mystery school is there's not a real dogma to it. Any religion, any race, anybody can come in and learn through the school, but the school is teaching you how to get more in touch with knowing yourself. And with that being said, who wouldn't benefit from being able to know themselves more, and who wouldn't be able to benefit from having that growth within, so then they can serve without. So I feel like if there's something inside of you that's like, that's a little interesting, maybe that's for me, I would just say, give it a try. And if it's not, then you'll know. But this has a lot of bang for the buck. You get a lot out of these classes, and you get a lot out of everything that you do. Really begins to transform things. So for me, being a little bit of a rebel, I'm like, try it out. You don't believe it, but if you feel something, go for it, give it a shot. And if it doesn't work, it doesn't work. But for most of the feedback I'm getting from people, it seems to always work. But test it out. That's what I would say. If you're interested, give it a shot.
I'm in your camp. I always say, look, give it a whirl. Tell me if it works or not. But and I've never seen anybody in my 16 years that has not had some kind of change, or something has happened for them. So yeah, thank you so much, Poppy. Thank you. And thank you everybody for tuning in, and we will see you all again soon.
Thank you.